19-year-old Lisa Stacy and her 5-month-old daughter Tiffany have been missing for more than 15 years now.
Stacy's daughter was still alive. The bodies were scattered between the two states, and they were in barrels.
We do not know where they were murdered. We do not know when they were murdered. And we do not know how long they have been in the barrels.
The first inkling I had of it was I'd heard that they'd found some bodies in Johnson County, Kansas.
3 industrial barrels, buried on a quiet farm in Kansas, inside bodies, forgotten women, lost for years.
It could not have been bigger in Kansas City. It was shocking.
Pretty soon they said, well, they're in barrels.
What began as a missing persons case would unravel into one of the most disturbing criminal investigations in American history. He was a family man, a church elder, and a volunteer. But behind the friendly face was a predator.
Robinson is a suspected serial killer who investigators believe may have victims dating back to 1984.
John Edward Robinson wasn't just a con man. He was a serial killer who adapted his hunt to the digital age, luring victims through job ads and online forums. This is the story of manipulation, murder, and a stolen identity. A story of a daughter raised by the man who may have murdered her mother. A story that begins in Kansas, but would haunt families across America. This is the story of a man considered to be the first internet serial killer, John Edward Robinson, a con man who used charm and manipulation in real life and online to lure victims.
This was like the nightmare that Kansas City didn't know they had. There were bodies, but no one knew they were there. He had hidden them.
One of his most chilling crimes, deceiving a family into adopting a baby he had stolen from a murdered woman. The bodies were discovered on a Lynn County, Kansas farm. One of the victims, 19-year-old Lisa Stacy, missing since 1985, along with her baby daughter Tiffany. Johnson County prosecutor Paul Morrison explained how John Robinson had deceived the Midwest family who adopted Tiffany 15 years earlier.
Lisa Stacy and her baby, Tiffany.
The body of Lisa Stacy has never been found, as most of you probably know. Tiffany Stacy was purportedly adopted by a Midwestern family in January of 1985.
Robinson promised her housing and financial help. She checked into a motel he arranged. Days later, she vanished, along with her infant daughter, Tiffany.
Robinson's connected to all these missing women,
including 19-year-old Lisa Stacy.
So all these women start disappearing that are involved with John Robinson. But then there's Lisa Stacy, and it's a whole different story because she has this 4-month-old baby.
This child was still alive, and it was like you could see the shockwave going through the newsroom.
Well, we've got a body or two in Lynn County.
Robinson was a con man through and through. He forged a life of lies, cheating, scamming, and manipulating those around him. In 1977, he went as far as nominating himself Man of the Year, ordering the plaque, and hosting the banquet, all by himself. Behind closed doors, he was another man entirely. While he coached soccer and served as an elder in the church, he also orchestrated elaborate schemes and lured vulnerable women to their deaths. In 1984, Paula Godfrey answered a job advertisement in the newspaper. She met John Robinson and then vanished without a trace. She told her parents she was attending a training seminar. She was never seen again. Letters started to arrive, supposedly from Paula, saying she was okay, but something felt off. The handwriting wasn't quite right. The tone wasn't hers. By 1987, more women, like Catherine Clampett, had vanished. All of them had answered ads placed by Robinson. All were promised new jobs or fresh starts. Each disappeared. For years, Robinson lived in plain sight, attending church, hosting family dinners, and preying on women. Captain Keith O'Neill began surveillance. From morning till late afternoon, Robinson met women, booked them into hotels, and returned home in time for dinner with his wife. One such hotel, an extended stay, became a focal point. Detectives rented the room next door and overheard Robinson introducing a woman to BDSM practices. Screams and slapping raised alarms, but nothing could be done yet. They held back, hoping to collect more evidence. Robinson's encounters escalated. A woman named Vicky Neufeld accused him of stealing a bag filled with sex toys. Another woman claimed he went too far during a BDSM session. These complaints finally gave police the legal ground they needed. On June 2, 2000, Robinson was arrested for battery. Search warrants were issued for his home, storage units, and rural property. The result? The horrifying discovery of multiple bodies, some in barrels on his farm, others in a Raymore, Missouri storage locker. As the nation reeled, 15-year-old Heather Tiffany Robinson sat in front of her computer in Chicago, stunned. Her uncle John had been arrested for murder. She visited a website on the case and recognized a baby photo. It was her. Investigators later confirmed that in 1985, John Robinson gave baby Tiffany to his brother and sister-in-law, claiming she was the orphaned child of a woman who died by suicide. He posed for pictures with baby Tiffany just hours after her mother, Lisa Stassi, had likely been murdered. Lisa Stassi's murder was added to Robinson's charges. Prosecutor Paul Morrison called it the most deserving death penalty case he had ever seen. He was convicted and sentenced to death, then transferred to Missouri, where he pleaded guilty to 3 more murders: Bev Bonner and Sheila and Debbie Faith, all found in barrels. He also admitted to killing Paula Godfrey and Catherine Clampett, but refused to say how or where their bodies were hidden. John Robinson now sits on death row. The man who looked like a friendly neighbor was, in fact, one of America's most manipulative and calculated serial killers. Behind his smile was a monster. Behind every promise, a trap. And behind every barrel, an unspeakable truth. John Edward Robinson's crimes stretched across decades. He fooled employers, wives, priests, and even the internet. But ultimately, justice caught up with him. And while not every question has been answered, the killing has finally stopped.